Well, it's such a lovely evening that I thought I'd just come out and do a quick video if that's possible for me. Aiming to keep this one under 10 minutes, so let's test to see if I can do it. So it's a lovely sunny day, as I said, and I've done a couple of projects today, a couple of little mini projects, although one of them was quite a convoluted project, and I'll show you that one in a few minutes. One of the first ones I did today was this one. We just put this post in, or I put the post in, and this is in the gravel area, or the gravel garden, call it what you will. And it's just a simple post. This post was in somebody's skip and I just took it out. Well, I asked them first and then I took it out. I didn't want to waste it. The bottom of it was rotten, as they always are, but there's always another use. And just by simply placing them in the garden like that, gives them that other use. Just some sort of a focal point. One thing that surprised me actually as I came around the corner just now was the fact that with this Asphodeline lutea, the yellow ones there, it just looks fantastic. They kind of go together, they match well. So that was a bit of an accidental partnership there, but it looks fantastic. I know I've got lots of upright type of stuff in this garden, all over the place, but they all add to the garden. I don't think I've done overkill, I think it looks quite good. And I shall probably continue to keep putting stuff like this in as well. I've got absolutely no doubt. Anyway, while we're here, I think we'll pay some attention to this. Now, the little planter below, I found in a hedge some 3 years ago. And I rescued it, as I always do. Although I'm not using the full planter as it was intended to be used, I have put this clay pot one in here, which looks really nice. So they suit each other. And ever since I put this on the corner, which was only 3 days ago, it just looks really good, as you can see. It just makes that corner now. So what I'll do is I will potter around this little section, and then we shall take you down to the main event. Aha, there's Hamish now. Where's he been? He's up to no good, I'll tell you. So all the borders are looking fantastic still. They're coming on a treat. Absolutely love them. Growth is amazing this year. The telegraph pole pergola has this wisteria up it, and the flowers are starting to open now. There's a few on there, not many, but a few, enough to keep me happy for this year. Next year it'll be different. There should be a lot more, and that will be trained to go up that first post and then all over. It is big. Wisterias are big. We know they are. That's something I have to be mindful of as it grows, and I will have to keep it in check because it's only got these posts to go up. But having said that, the posts are quite high. What are they? 7.5 foot high, and the telegraph pole pergola walk itself must be 20 foot, 25 foot. So there's plenty to go at. I realise I've put other stuff up it as well. This rose that I've not shown you much is now flowering, and it's a cracking rose. I love it. This was a chance buy when I was down in Norfolk. But it's a really nice one. I do really like it, and it has... I thought it was a normal type rose. I didn't realise that the roses were this tiny. But it's looking really good. And that's a Banksii. That's Rosa Banksii lutescens. Although I've recently seen it's called lutea. I'll continue to call it lutescens. It's okay. So that's going to look really nice. And there's only a few flowers, but in a couple of years' time, that's going to look superb. And again, I'm going to have a modicum of control on that because it is going to cover this pergola as well. So there's going to be a bit of competition going on in the future, but I look forward to sorting that out and being the referee for that. Show you the grass again. I like showing this, one of my favourite grasses, simply because of the size and the speed it grows. This rim looks absolutely superb. I love the creamy red colour in the flower there, and especially against the veining in the leaves. It's wonderful. You've got to admit that is really, really nice. I contain this one because apparently it goes all over the place. I think I'd like to try it in this section, actually in the garden, because it is quite heavy, chalky soil here, as it is all over at Grassy Bottom. And I reckon that would actually control it a little bit, so it wouldn't really get out of control. And this reminds me of Solinum wallichianum, which is a cow parsley type plant. And that top section, those flowers and that red, is very reminiscent of that. But this is a Rheum australe. So everything else is doing well. I'm not going to do too much on the plants. I will do a more in-depth talk on plants at some point. This Rheum palmatum again, that stalk, the flower stalk, must be 7.5, if not 8 feet. Huge this year. And remember, we had all that rain, didn't we, at the beginning of the year? And that's really helped. It's helped everything, to be honest. It's fantastic. Everything's coming along nicely. Everything's getting big. I got this trolleus yesterday from a plant sale. And this is Golden Queen, a very famous one. So it's Trolleus chinensis, Golden Queen. And it's fantastic. I love it. I love that golden colour. On the camera, I'm not actually sure if that's as golden as it is. We'll see how that is when I play it back. Oh, another thing that I forgot, and I wasn't going to mention this. I've done this section. I've done this kind of thing many times in the past at every garden I've had, practically. And it's usually at the beginning of the path, end of a path, or something like what I've done here, which is a step up. And the reason I've done it is because what was happening, and it's been happening from day one, is the grass grows up and it's a bit of a pain to cut it. And as you know, I don't really want grass in this garden. I'm the ornamental type, not the lawn types. But it's here and I've got to put up with some of it. And what was happening was it was growing quite tall in front of that. So what I decided was to do that. And then we had the same problem with these sleepers. Obviously, it was going to do the same. So I've put this border along as well. These are old bricks that I've got. And I've not really gone to town on them. I've just dug them in. I've not done anything special. There's no need. No need at all. Because that is good enough and will suffice. So that's looking good. Okay. So, we're going to bring you to the main event now. Can we see it from here? Yes, we can. There it is. The dovecote. It's finally up. I'm looking at it through the polo at the minute. So that's another good view we've got for the polo. And it's fantastic. So what I'll do is I'll take you over to it and we'll have a little explanation about it briefly. But while we're passing this rose, I said Gertrude Jekyll would be the first one to flower. And so it is. There we are. And there is quite a lot of flowers on this. In fact, there's flower buds everywhere on this, as there always is. So Rosa Gertrude Jekyll is a repeat flowerer. This particular one can be a climber or a shrub rose. It depends. I don't know how they worked that one out, but they did. So it's taken quite a time to do it, but I think you'll agree the patience has paid off. And it looks great. I love it. I do. I really love it. Finally got it up onto the post today. The post went in yesterday. I did concrete the post in because it needed to be a bit more solid. So it's dug in and then concreted. Around the base, I've put an ivy, one of my favourites, in fact, probably my favourite, buttercup. And that will slowly cover all of this section here. And I can control buttercup quite well. That's why I've used buttercup. On top, there's a finial. And that finial was rescued from off the top of an iron bar that's been sat there for, I can't remember how many years, for as long as I can remember anyway. And I chopped it off the top of the iron bar because the iron bar was just in the middle of nowhere, really. So I cut that off and then I've put it on top of there as a finial. Originally, the bottom section of it was a round ball section and it just didn't look right. So I've had to cut that ball section in half and put it on top. You probably can see that there's some lead. Let's try and lift you up to it. there's lead sections on there, and the top bit itself, the capping, is also lead. And then I've soldered those, because in a previous life I used to do stained glass work, and soldering is quite easy for me. As you can see, it looks quite good. So this is quite a complicated dovecote. Normally I'd only make them either 4 or 6 panels. And by that you can guess I've made them before. I've made them at practically every garden I've ever had. And I used to keep pigeons, believe it or not. I used to keep doves. And I used to keep white doves in them as well. But I've not kept pigeons for a long time. I actually used to keep show birds, as you can probably imagine with me. And they were called Old Dutch Capuchins. They were lovely, and just used to show them at the shows. Used to really enjoy that. So from then on, I kept building little dovecotes. This is really more of a bird coat because it's quite small. Although doves would fit in that, should I wish them to go in there, that would be okay. But it's really, I call it a bird coat. But I think I'm going to keep calling it a dovecote because technically it is a dovecote. The grey bits on top have been painted. Now, they were originally the larch lap fence panelling. So I bought them individually. You can buy them individually, these things. And I did. And then I've cut them to that. It's quite a complex thing to do, to be quite honest. Nevertheless, I did it. You may have spotted this little thing inside it. Kathy decided she was going to put that in it. I'm not that keen on it. And it's on top of a pine post, which I bought from a supplier. So that looks really good. So let's go up here and show you what it looks like from up here. There it is. So the school is behind it, the old school, and it does suit, actually. It's like a borrowed landscape for me, that school building at the back. The dovecote suits it quite well. So there you go. The dovecote is finally done. Just thought I'd do a quick YouTube on this one. Not go into too much detail, because I know I can go on a bit, as you know. But there it is. And while we're here, we'll finish with this. I had a blacksmith make me these. Now, 2 of them are prototypes, which is these 2 here. These are prototypes, and this is Echinacea pallida, or supposed to be Echinacea pallidas, and then we finished off with that one. I was going to supply these to people, sell them, but the prices were too much. So I'd be wasting my time having them made, so I didn't bother. And they're actually next to these Echinaceas, which are the Bressingham hybrids, so they're not pallidas. Just to show you what the difference between pallida and the ordinary Echinaceas are. That's the ordinary Echinacea. And then pallida is the one there. There. That's pallida. That's what that looks like at this time of year. So it's looking fantastic. We'll take you back here, show you this. See if we can get some of that sun off the camera. No, we can't. And what else can I say about it? Nothing really, except to say it's done. There you go. Okay, I'll talk to you on the next one. Ta-da.